YouTube, what is going on? Back with my latest video, back with an installment of Guess That Grade. So if you watched my first video, you saw or heard that I had some more books coming in from CGC. I think they broke it up into 3 different packages because it's the different grading tiers that they have. So this second batch I think is actually from my friend. I'm not entirely sure, but still gonna unbox it and guess the grade anyways because I wrote down my predictions down here. And I also have my next batch of things I'm going to send out to them. I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to send out, and we're going to try to predict those grades as well. So let's get right to it. Alright guys, before we get into this video, please smash that like button down below. Let me know you guys are enjoying these videos, and as always, if you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button down below so you're updated to my most recent content, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted as soon as I post a new video. So like I said, I got, I believe, 2 books. They sent over the shipping information. They said it was 2 books, I believe, and I'm not entirely sure what books they are, but I think there's 2 Spider-Man ones. So if I'm correct, these are both my friends, but I'm unboxing for him. I guess this is the first time he sees it too. And yeah, we'll all be surprised together. So after that, after I go into these 2 books, I'm gonna show you guys what I'm sending off to them. I got some huge books that I'm sending off to CGC. And a few of them that you guys picked if you follow me on Instagram. If you don't follow me there, check me out at ThePopSavage. But I got a few things that just are like personal grails for me that aren't really valuable at all, but I still want to preserve and get them graded just because I think it'll be a little bit unique. And I got some real heavy hitters I'm sending off as well. So stay tuned for that. But let's get into these 2 books from CGC. So if you're not familiar with CGC, they're a comic book grading service. It's called the Certified Grading Company. What you're able to do with them is able to send out your comic books to them. They'll grade them between 0 and 10 and assign you a grade. So we'll see what we have in here. I have all my predictions written down here just so I can hold myself accountable. Alright, so let's see what the first book is. Okay, yeah, so this is definitely my friend. So this is Spider-Man 252. This is his book. He had some comic books that he wanted to get graded. This is actually a key. It's the first appearance of that black costume who later becomes Venom. So very, very cool issue. I'm kind of jealous that he has it in his collection. So I took a look at the book, and it looks like for me, my prediction was a 7.5. I don't remember why. At the time, I think it has some spine ticks and maybe a few other, bends here and there, but I still thought it was in pretty good shape. So I thought this would be a 7.5. I'm sure he'll be happy with that, or even higher. So let's see what we got. That's the wrong side. Oh, a 6.5. Okay. So he actually ended up getting the Spider-Man custom label as well, which is pretty cool. So I guess, I can look at the notes later. I'll show him as well. But, I think the issues here are obviously the spine ticks. You guys can see him a little bit in there. He got some color breaks with the spine ticks. So I knew it wasn't going to be a perfect condition book. But again, for me and him, we just wanted to make sure we preserve our books, make sure they don't get any worse than they currently are. Always an option to get it pressed and see if it can come out, but with it being a color break, I'm not sure that it will. But like I said, it's the first appearance of the black costume, and it's got the Amazing 15 Spider-Man homage cover. So an iconic cover, an iconic issue, and yeah, I'm sure he'll be happy. And he got the Spider-Man custom label up there, which I think is really, really dope. And there's how it looks like on the back. So 6.5 for this one. And I'm not too surprised. It was off by 1 grade. And actually, I didn't even notice it till now. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a stain right down there. So I'm sure that's going to appear on the notes as well. I didn't see that originally, so that that justifies my 7.5 going down to 6.5 with that stain. So there you guys go. First book. And again, he got 1 more book, I believe, in this package. So let me pull that one out, and then I'll show you guys what I'm sending out. So I believe it's another Spider-Man book. If I can get it out. They package these things very, very tight. It's like bubble wrapped and cardboard and a double box. So if you guys are have some comic books that you want to send out and you're not, kind of getting into that hobby, CGC is definitely, I think, the premier grading service. There's obviously other ones out there, but there's a membership. I think it was like $200, $250. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then you get like a credit for the Premier service, which I have, for like 150 bucks. So you get a whole bunch of grading for free. It costs about 20 bucks for the modern ones. Older ones cost a little bit more, like 25 bucks. So definitely something if you're interested in, I would check it out. And if you're just looking to preserve your comic books, or if you want to get them graded, you know, because you think there's gonna be some value in them, I'll suggest to do that as well. So let's get into this next book, see what I got. All right, yep, so this is his. So this is Spider-Man #1 from the 90s. This was like a gold or platinum version of it. I believe it's a second printing. There's a lizard appearance in here as well. I thought that this book, because he kept it in the wrapper and you know, in pretty good shape, I thought this one would get a 9.6, and that was me being a little bit pessimistic, to be honest with you. Didn't see any issues on it at all. If it comes back as a 9.8, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm thinking it's going to be a 9.6. So let's see what we got with this Spider-Man book. 8.5. Wow, what is wrong with this book? So I gotta look at the grade notes on this. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys, so I took a look at the grader notes. It says that there's some bending on the cover and also some spine ticks. I kind of see some small, little, teeny tiny color breaks up there on the spine, but I don't see any bends on the cover at all. Now, this is a black comic book. They're very, very hard to get higher grades. But again, he kept it in pretty good shape. He kept it in the same original wrapper. So I'm kind of surprised it didn't get higher than this, but I don't think he's gonna be too upset. I mean, I guess I'll see when I talk to him. But it's a pretty good book still. You know, gold edition book from the 90s. Spider-Man is an iconic character. You got the Spider-Man custom label again. So still overall presents very well. I'm not sure if he's gonna want to send this in to get regraded again. Just because I don't know if it's worth to do so. But I definitely disagree with this grade. It looks a whole lot better than an 8.5, which 8.5 is still pretty good. So there you guys go. Those are the two books for the day segment. I guess that grade, I was slightly off on both. So, you know, this wasn't as good as my first guessing on my books. So I will show you guys now what books I'm going to send off, and we'll see if we can make some good predictions. So let's get right to that. All right, guys, so let me show you guys what I'm send off. Like I said, some of you guys picked some of these books from Instagram, so I really appreciate your input. Because I was kind of on the fence about what to send, because a lot of the books I had weren't too valuable, so I didn't want to spend too much money sending them off, but I still wanted to get some of these older books preserved. So first I have this Porky Pig in Roaring Rockets. It's 4-color number or something. I forget off the top of my head, but I just thought it was a really, really cool issue with Bugs and Porky and that blue background. It just reminds me, it's just a really nostalgic issue, and just really, really old school. This is from the 50s, so this book's almost 70 years old now. I think it came out in either 51 or 55, so very, very old comic. Just want to make sure I preserve this one and keep it in its current condition. I don't think I'm not gonna get this one pressed. It's just not worth it, you know. It's not too expensive of a book. I know it was going to make the grade higher, but for that, it cost me like 50 bucks to get it graded and pressed, so I just don't think it's worth it. You know, some books is not worth it. I'd just rather pay the 25 bucks to get it graded. So up next we have this Scrooge McDuck book. This is 4-color something as well. We got Scrooge, you got Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and the Paper Plane. So if you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of Scrooge McDuck. I have a Scrooge McDuck display in my room, and all things Scrooge McDuck I'm all about. So I wanted to make sure I send over at least one Scrooge McDuck issue. So this is very, very cool. I think it might be 4-color number 23. I think I'm right. So, no, maybe I'm wrong. It's a 4-color something. So there you guys go. Second book is this pink cover with Scrooge McDuck. So this Porky Pig, I forgot to go through the grades. I think this Porky Pig's gonna come back as a 4.5. Again, there's a lot of bends and dings. Actually, I'm gonna go with 4. I'm gonna go with 4 because I'm not gonna press it. I don't think it's gonna come back in high condition at all. So I'm gonna go with 4 with that. I'm also gonna go with 3.5 for the Scrooge issue right there. Again, I don't care about the grades for these books. They're so old, I don't really care too much. I just want to preserve them, make them nice display pieces, which I know some people just want to put them in top loaders, but you know, I'm a little different. So I got that. Those two I think are gonna be, you know, 4 and 3.5. This book's actually from my friend again. He wanted me to send over some more books for him. So I have this 3 Jokers #2 variant, 1 out of 25 variant. Very, very nice issue. As you guys can see, I keep the issues, most of them, in these top loaders. I'll put a link down below in the description where you guys can get them. But I preserve all of them in these top loaders until I'm ready to send them out to CGC, just because it kind of helps preserve the integrity of the book. It's not being you know, damaged in any way, and you know, it's kind of like a storage thing until it's being sent out. But I think this book's going to get a 9.6. Just being conservative, you know, obviously it's got the potential to be a 9.8. No issues, fresh off the shelf. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in 9.8, but I'm gonna go with 9.6 for this 3 Jokers right here. And we have 3 Jokers #1, the 1 in 25 variant as well. So again, 9.6 for this one. Both of them came fresh off the shelf, very, very clean and nice shape. And I don't see any dings, but you know, there's always factory, can be factory defects that you're not too sure about, and that's why I never really think things are gonna be 9.8 unless you're gonna get it pressed. If you're gonna get a new book like that, get it pressed, 9.8 sounds like it's gonna happen all day. So up next we have Marvel Zombies Resurrection #1. This is the Diamond Retailer Summit issue. Very, very cool. Again, this is my friend's issue, those 3 books, those 2 Jokers, and this one. So he wanted to send this out. Just a really cool cover with Spider-Man being eaten by zombies. Just all really cool. And I think this one's going to get a 9.6 as well. Fresh off the shelf, and it's being protected at the comic book shop. So it wasn't just sitting on the shelf, it was actually on display. So I wouldn't be surprised if that came back as 9.8 either. Up next, this is my book. This is Negan Lives. If you guys saw one of my comic book hauls, I got this on the one of the comic book days. It was sitting on the shelf. Got lucky and picked this up for retail, which was really, really nice. And I think this one's gonna come back as a 9.6 as well. Very, very clean, and no issues at all. I took it right home and put it into you know, this protector. Now this does have a little teeny bit of whitening down there, which is easy to see on like dark covers. So that's why I'm gonna go with 9.6, and I think that's how the best is gonna get, to be honest. But still something, I paid retail for it. I don't mind getting it graded, and I feel like it's money well spent. Up next, another book I have had in my collection for a while. I think it's time to finally get it graded. Is this X Factor #6. This is the first appearance of Apocalypse right there. Very iconic X-Men villain. You guys know how much I like the X-Men, so definitely want to make sure I get one of these in my collection. I got this as a gift actually, so I'm not into it any money, so getting it graded is completely fine for me. Don't care what the book comes out to, but I think it's going to be a 9.0. It's very clean. It was secondhand. There is a few breaks in color up there, just really, really, really small stuff, but it's a dark comic, so it's kind of hard to get those higher grades. So I'm gonna go with 9.0 for this X Factor #6, which I'd be pleased with just because it was a gift. You know, I just wanna make sure it's preserved and kept that way. Up next, I have this 4-color number 629. This is the first appearance of Lady and the Tramp for Disney. So you guys know how I feel about my Disney books and Disney stuff in general. So definitely want to get this one into the collection and graded. I only paid $5 for this one, so whatever comes out to is fine. It's got some issues, clear issues. It's got some bends, got some color breaks. It's old. It's a very old book. I think this one's definitely from the 50s as well. I think this one will actually come up to a 4.0. It's not in the worst of shapes. It's definitely an old book, so you kind of expect some of the things you see on it. So I think it's gonna come back as like 4.0, maybe a 4.5. I'm not getting that one pressed either. I don't think it's worth it, just for, you know, the $50. I just don't think it's worth it, the extra money. Up next, I have this Batman Beyond. This is the first appearance of Batman Beyond. This was this is a variant. It's the not the Six Flags variant, but it's this second print, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this one right here is an issue I found at the comic book shop. They had a sale. I picked it up, so I'm not too into it much money. I think this one's gonna come back as a 7.5. It's got some issues on the spine, which is very, very obvious to see with these dark books. It's kind of weird that I've sent so many dark covers out to CGC right now, but still very, very nice. 7.5 is what I think I'm gonna get out of that. Alright, so up next I have this Batman 89. This is the first appearance of Punchline. So Punchline's a character I'm really feeling. I think she's going to be big. A lot of other people agree. And I was fortunate enough to find this in the comic book shop months after the release for retail, which was an amazing find. I have a video for that, so check that out if you want to. I think it's going to get a 9.6 as well. It was fresh off the shelf. It's clean. I think I actually set this one up to get pressed, so I think we might even get better. But 9.6 is what I'm going to go with. This is a very, very clean copy of Batman 89. And last but not least, you guys know me. You know I have to get something a little bit whimsical. Actually, it's not last but not least. I got three more. We have Dragon Ball #1. So this is a really cool book. This is actually from the 90s, early 90s, I believe. No, I think it's from 98. I think it's from 98. But it's Goku and got the blue Shenron on the back. Very, very cool cover. I definitely have to get something Dragon Ball Z into my collection and graded. I think this one's going to come back as a 9.2. It's got some issues here and there, nothing too major. It's like a small stain on the bottom down there, which I think is going to make it slightly below high grade, but 9.2 is what I'm going to go with this one, because I don't think it's too much to get it past the 9.0 scale. So I do have four big books that I'm setting off as well. These are all I'm getting pressed. I think it's worth the money, and you know, trying to maximize the potential as far as getting the grades higher. So first we have Venom #3. This is the third print with Null. As you guys saw in my videos, I got this from a mystery box, which was amazing. Go check that video out if you've not already. But this is Null's first appearance. He's sitting on the throne. I think this one's got some issues. It's got a bend right there by the UPC code, but I am setting it up to get pressed. So as long as I can get pressed, I think we have some good potential. But to be conservative, I think this one's going to get a 9.4. Once that's pressed out, you know, the sky's the limit. But I'm going to go conservative and get a 9.4 on this Venom. So hold me to these grades. You know, I'm recording them instead of writing them down now, so you guys will see what I'm coming up with. Up next, we have this G.I. Joe #1 from the 70s. Very, very iconic issue. When I picked it up, I found the comic book shop again. It started to go up in value since now, so now I think it's time to get it graded and preserved so I can keep in its current condition. I think this one's going to come at an 8.0. It's very, very clean, nothing really too wrong with it, but it's old, it's got a few bends here and there, so 8.0 I think is a conservative grade for this. Two more issues, two really big ones. So first, I'll show you guys this one. I don't think I've ever showed this on the channel before. We got Batman Adventures #12. So I actually got this from my dad. He found it in the basement at their house, and he said that, you know, I could have it. I bought it from him, and it's in clean condition. I know how he kept his Batman stuff. It was in a binder, in protector, no issues. It was sitting there in the basement. Nobody touched it. Nobody bothered it since '93. So I think this one, I'm getting it pressed. I think it's gonna get a 9.6. I'm feeling really confident. I don't see any issues with it at all. I'm just being safe by getting it pressed. But I think it's gonna get a 9.6, guys. This one is actually a pretty expensive book. So we'll see what happens with that. And last but not least, we have my Giant Size X-Men #1. So this book, again, I got from the comic book shop recently for 500 bucks. You guys saw that video, you know. It's got some issues with the spine, where the spine's kind of bulging a little bit. I'm hoping with a good press, it changes that. It gets it pressed down, and I think I'm gonna be conservative. I think with a press, I'm gonna get 5.0. That is my goal for this one. I'm aiming for the stars. I think I can get a 5.0 out of this Giant Size X-Men, which would make me extremely happy. If I get a 5.0, I'd be very, very happy out of this one, because for the price I paid, I think that would totally be worth it. So it's got some other issues down there. It's got some breaks in the cover, but 5.0 I still think is possible. But let me know your thoughts on all these comics. Again, I'm sending out the CGC now. We're gonna get back the X-Men comic book and the Batman Adventures fastest because of the grading scale that they use. But all you do is you actually put these into Gemini mailers. You actually bubble wrap their comics after in bags and boards, put them in the Gemini mailers, bubble wrap those, put them in a box, and ship them off to CGC. So it'll take about 20 days maybe for expensive books, and the other ones might take a month or two. So as they come in, I'll do videos, we'll do a guess that grade segment, and we'll see where things land. So let me know your thoughts about this video. Let me know what your favorite one was, and let me know your predictions down below. I'll be interested in seeing that. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hit that like button if you've not already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new, and check me out on Instagram at ThePopSavage so you can stay connected there too. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you later.